Hey guys, this is Doc Green, the Rose Scholar, coming back at you. I'm at home this week. Got the show I got to go do next week. I got to take my truck and haul a guy's show trailer for audio store and car audio and side-by-side off-road audio and everything. So it'll be about a 4-day show. I got to go do that. So my truck is getting wrapped for that. But anyway, today's big news, as everyone's probably heard already, Convoy out of business, gone bye-bye. I didn't realize it till this morning because I like getting on the load boards, look at what's going on and everything. I got on there this morning and no loads. That's weird. I mean, no loads at all. Nowhere out of Dallas. That's impossible. And then I got on YouTube and found out, Convoy went out of business. And they aren't the only ones hurting. Last night, Fix It barely escaped bankruptcy itself by someone swooping in and saving them at the last minute with a $40 million inflection of cash to barely keep them from going out of business last night. No one's hearing about that because everyone's talking about the Convoy thing. But if you watch some of these other channels and see what's going on in other things besides just a YouTube channel by somebody, then you'll also realize a lot of these brokers are hurting right now, and it's starting to really jack them up, and they are going out of business, which is a good and bad thing. I'll explain. Good thing because we need them to. We need them to go out of business. Y'all guys these brokering companies were getting freight way too cheap. Drivers weren't making any money. They're not making any money. And I'm surprised. I expected, a lot more drivers to drop off before Convoy dropped off, but it looks like they weren't making enough money, so their bank came calling. Once their money, that loan payment is due this month, and Convoy with their it's a shit. I'm going to say it. It's a shitstorm what happened to Convoy. It wasn't just the low rates. They were also paying out their drivers immediately, which just because they're paying their drivers out, yes, they're backed by Jeff Bezos and stuff, but there's only so much money you do that. But they were doing like a 1% to 2% payout cost for drivers like me to get our money right away. When I say right away, I'm talking about within hours. Well, the only problem is their receivables aren't getting that money in for 30, 60, 90 days, mostly 70 to 90 days. So while they're paying us immediately, they're having to wait, and they're only charging 2% for that. They're taking out loans at a 5 to 7% rate, and they're having to wait 70 to 90 days to get the money back to pay those loans, but they were paying their drivers out at a 2%, and at cost, back some 2%, because I was like 1%. And they were paying out more money, not bringing enough money in. Bank came calling, no extensions, because even the banks are looking at this and going, wait a minute, how are you going to make money if you're spending more money trying to pay these drivers? You're not charging enough for freight to pay the drivers and only get a 1 or 2% return on that, and pay for all your operating costs because your freight costs are too low. You're charging too little. So the bank says, no, we're not going to give you the extension. You need to pay us now. They can't do it. Boom, bye-bye. And the same thing almost happened to Fix It last night. So that'll be, they're barely struggling to get through. TQL is just on mass volume. But if they keep charging the rates they're charging and they don't start upping their rates, they'll be heading down the same path. And JB Hunt put out their quarterly report. They're hurting, down 40% in 12 months. They are hurting. I think they're down 33% total, 40% drop in their intermodal, which is the largest portion of their money. And they don't see anything come back anytime soon. It's like one of their own employees were talking about, he's in the office in Seattle, Washington, up there, in one of their ports, one of their ports that normally gets in a ship or two a week is only getting one ship in over the next 3 weeks. The American consumers just aren't buying anything. The interest rates are too high on housing, so that's caused the housing market to start to suffer. People are saving their money. They're not going out. They're not spending like they did during COVID and everything, and it's contracting. All that free money the government gave people, they were used to living on and everything. Well, now, like I said way back then, it's going to be time to pay the piper when that money stops. and people stop ordering things from home and they get back out here and prices start going up. And I warned about this even back during COVID when I seen what they were doing, and everyone's like going, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. The experts say, they say it's going to be, and everything I said, you guys go back and check my videos, check my history. You go back and look at it. Exactly what I said was going to happen, happened. And it's happening now with the brokers. Now, I'll be honest with you, I thought the big trucking companies would be going out of business first because they're running on credit. They're not making any money, so they're having to borrow money from the banks just to keep paying payroll and pay their drivers and everything because they're losing money on freight. Well, you can only do that so long. And I thought for sure that some of the big trucking companies would go out of business. And Yellow did, but that wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting like U.S. Express, some of the big ones like the Avant and a few of those first. But looks like the brokers are getting hit harder first. So with them going out of business, maybe now, it's going to come to a point where these banks are going to want their money, and they're going to look at these brokerage companies and realize the plan that they're trying to work in is not working, and the banks are going to want their money, and they're not going to give extensions or anything like what's happening now, and these brokers are just going to go out of business because they're not charging enough. And it makes no sense why they're not charging enough. The manufacturer, the supplier, the shipper is still, the products that they're selling are going at even higher costs now as inflation hits. So why are they're making more money, so why aren't they paying more money for the freight to be shipped? It's because the brokers are fighting over each other and undercutting a price war and killing and knocking each other out of business. And it's gonna happen for a little while longer. This isn't the worst of it. We're at the beginning of the bloodbath. It's going to continue. Like I told everyone months ago, and I've had some guys put some smart aleck comments on my comments. I don't say anything. I'll be stuff like this, but I'll get on there and argue with them because there's no point in it. But I told y'all months ago, freight rates were not going to go back up this quarter. I said it. I said there's no way, because I'm looking at what China's shipping out. and everything. China wasn't shipped. There was no more ships coming out of China in the last 5 or 6 months than there were a year ago, which means there's no more freight coming in. So why are these freight rates going to go up again? There's too many truck drivers, not enough freight coming in from China and some other places, and now China's moved in some of their companies over into Mexico and everything. That's becoming a big port down in Laredo, down along the Texas border. But it's not enough. And as I try to explain this to people go, oh, like he's an expert, like he knows. You don't have to be an expert. You just have to look at what's happening. When China's not shipping stuff out, we're not getting stuff in from Mexico, when trucks are going out here and delivering food and stuff that used to deliver 22 pallets, and the truck drivers tell you they're only carrying 12 pallets to the stores, that's telling you the economy is hurting. The stores aren't buying what they did because they can't sell it. Last year, during COVID, everyone was buying Xboxes and all the stuff for home, and Amazon went through the roof. And right after COVID, Amazon took a hard hit. Jeff Bezos, it was a hard hit they took. And I explained it. I'm explaining it again. Rates are not going to go up. I don't see them going up in 2024. People go, because now if you watch these experts on transportation, the ones we have the analytics and the proof and the backing and the proof and the analytics. No, you don't, because here's the problem. Now they're saying, it'll be January or February before freight starts picking up. That's Chinese New Year. Anyone in the transportation industry knows we're not going to pick up in January and February. It's not going to happen. Chinese New Year goes into effect. They shut down for a month over there. Whenever they go back up, and they got to start producing again, start getting it back on ships. We never see freight picking up January, February. It just don't happen. So these experts are full of crap. Either they're lying to us for some unknown reason. Maybe the Illuminati is controlling or something. I don't know. But whatever it is, I think it's just stupidity. I think a lot of these college kids and everything look at historical data and go, well, this happens next. But they're not looking at actual numbers of what's being produced in countries like China and Mexico and other foreign countries that's being shipped into America. They're not looking at the real number. How many ships are coming across? What is intermodal doing right now? And intermodal has a huge effect Right now, it's costing companies less money to ship things by truck from the West Coast into places like Chicago, Dallas, anywhere in the Midwest. It's costing them less money to ship by truck than it is by rail. That's insane. We have never, ever seen anything like that. It has never been cheaper to ship by truck than ship by train. But you got trucking companies out here and these brokers that are only charging $1.70 a mile and running their butts off all the way across the country. That's no money. And you can't survive. All you're doing, if you're taking loads under 225, 250 a mile, all you're really, and like I said, I had to do a couple of them, but you know what? No, I'm done. I'll just park the truck. I'll just wait it out. But here's the problem. If you're doing that, you're not making, I gotta pay my bills. You're not paying your bills. You're robbing from people because you're not going to make any money on the load. So the question is, who are you going to pay this week? Whatever you pay this week, you're not going to be able to pay next week. Your credit cards are maxed out. You're falling behind on all your payments and everything. You're not making any money. Stop running those loads you can't afford to make. You need to know how much money it costs per mile for you to run that truck. I know it costs me on my truck anywhere between $1.20 and $1.48 a mile to run my truck. So even if I make it $2 a mile, I make it a little bit. Not enough for me to go out there and do it. So I'm not going to anymore. I'm done. You got to pay me well over $2 a mile. I'm not doing it. I'll park the truck. I don't care. I got other trades. I got other things I can do. I help people get out of debt. I have a side business over there that my son runs for me and everything. There's other things I can do besides driving this truck. I just love truck driving. I like being out on the road. My wife likes me being out on the road. She gets tired of me and everything, So, but it's to the point where I may have to park the truck. I'm going to try for a few more weeks. I'm going to do these little shows and everything for my friend down here and everything. He pays me really, really well to do it and everything. So I'm going to do a couple of his shows and maybe get some freight from him or something. Because right now he's paying some of these LTL companies huge amounts of money to haul his freight. And I think I could do it cheaper. I'm not going to be cutting the throat to do it or anything. But I think I could do him a fair rate and make a fair and decent living myself. So I'm going to run the numbers on that and see what I can do and talk to him while I'm down there and see if we can work out a deal. And I'll just deliver local in Texas and, see how we work out with that. But if you are out here trying to run on these load boards, well, one of them just disappeared. It's gone bye-bye. Like I said, I don't expect Fix It to last much longer. They might make it another quarter. I doubt it. Somewhere between now and by the end of February, when they realize when the Chinese freight ain't coming in and everything, and there's no freight and they can't fight over anything, there's no freight to grab and cheat someone out of or lower the price on, and they can't make payroll and pay the bank, they're going to go the same way as Yellow and Convoy and the rest of these companies. It's just going to go bye-bye. I mean, it's unsustainable. So, guys, I know that a lot of you are hearing this stuff. It sounds all doom and gloom. It is doom and gloom for some people. If you bought stuff on credit, you're making truck payments, and you're insured, you got a new authority, and you're paying $2,600 a month on insurance or whatever you're paying, and you're making a truck payment of $4,000, $2,500, $4,000 a month, and you're only getting paid $2 a mile, and you're only getting 2,500 to 3,000 miles a week because the freight's just not here. Even if you are running, let's say you're running 4,000, 5,000 miles a week, which you can't do. But, if you're running, let's say you're running 2,500 miles a week, at $2, that's $5,000 a week. You're making $10,000 a month. 4,000 of that is gone in insurance insurance and your truck payment alone is taking almost half of that. You know what I'm saying? So, and then you got trailer rental. So you're talking about another anywhere from $700 to $1,000 a month gone on that. You're busting your butt to go into debt. That's all you're doing. So take it for what it's worth. And I know some people are going to get on here and tell you, I make so much money a mile and everything. That's great. But for us guys with new authorities, these bigger companies won't work with us. And they don't have to. There's plenty of supply trucks for them with guys with experience and proven and everything. And they're paying them not really what they should be getting paid. So why should they mess with a new driver and take a chance on their freight not making it somewhere on time or anything? So it makes sense for them. But as more brokers go out of business, as which is a good thing. Like these big mega brokers that are charging way too low or paying way too low for the driver or whatever, y'all need to go out of business. Congratulations, you worked hard at it. I'm so proud that you went out of business. You needed to, because you were trying. Convoy was trying to do what Uber Freight is doing, and Uber Freight. A lot of people say Uber Freight is making money. No, they're not. Uber has not made any profit since it's been in existence in a year. People just buy into the hype, and they, give these evaluations and everything that they have never lived up to. And, they might last a little bit longer and everything, but sooner or later, some of these banks will look up there and realize Uber's not, their profit plan is not working. It's not going to work. And they're going to want their money. And when Uber can't borrow anymore or open up any new kind of businesses to try to fool them anymore, then Uber is going to be going bye-bye. And it really makes no sense, because Uber, back in the day when they first started, they used to charge a decent rate. And people would pay, I'm talking about regular Uber, not Uber Freight. And people would pay a decent rate for the ride share thing. And they kept lowering the rate, for what? Everybody was using you. You're the only big dog out here. Why did you lower your rates? All you did was make it so it's harder for your drivers to make money. So anyway, it's a whole big old mess. That's a whole different ballgame. But I don't know. It's like they're so greedy. They're trying to grab 100% of the business, but they're not making any money. They think, here's what they think it is: if I could just drive these other guys out of business, then I could charge what I want to charge. But in the meantime, I got to figure out a way to pay the banks, my employees, and everything. If I could just hold on a little bit longer, and that's all they're doing. And now they're not holding on. They're falling off the end. When you got a company like J.B. Hunt, one of the largest trucking companies in America that's been around forever, and they're telling you they have a 40% drop in 12 months, that's a problem. That's a real problem. And it's not looking any better for anybody. I hate to be the guys doing blue, especially I just opened my own company, and even when I opened it, rates were a little bit better. I had a few more runs there that I could run with Convoy. And see, what I was doing with Convoy was I was taking runs that nobody else would, because they don't want to go out and get stuck somewhere and not be able to run back. But I'd already planned something back. I was making decent money. So now Convoy's gone, though. I've lost all that. It's gone. So now I got to figure out how another company that'll work with new drivers. I can't work for those brokers that want to pay me 60 days later. I got to find brokers that can factor me now. But and that's the other thing. A lot of these factoring companies are hurting. Yeah, something they don't talk much about. But a lot of those factoring companies are hurting because, again, their receivables are too far out for the amount of money they're paying out now and for the low percentage rate they're charging to pay you now. If you're only paying, you charge a 2% to the driver, but you're having a 6% loan to pay him, and you got to wait 90 days out. That loan is compounding interest at 6% for 3 months before you get paid. Yes, you think you made 4% off of me, but after you compound that interest out on how much you have to pay on the loan you took to pay me, you're losing money. And you would think that these geniuses that are running these companies, they got all these degrees and they ran all these other companies. And if you look at it, it's really funny too. Go look at the CEOs that are running these companies. All they do is trade places. Like, we'll go from Pepsi to Apple, and we'll go from this company to that company. And, he's going to he's going to turn us around and everything. There was a reason he's not with that other company. Most of it is the other company got rid of him because it's driving him into the ground. He's going to bring his philosophy over here, but they all work together like that. And we all know it. But so whenever they say, you look at these big companies going, they have these geniuses that are in there and telling you how if you study the history of it and you watch how the freight's coming in and they go through all these numbers and everything on a board, that sounds great until you actually break it down and go, how many ships are coming out of China this year? How many came out last year? What were they carrying this year compared to last year? Is the same kind of product? No, they're mostly carrying in things that are necessities. They're not carrying in a whole lot of luxury goods. You're not seeing a whole bunch of Xbox 10, 11, 35s and everything come out now. They're not bringing that. They're not even talking about that stuff in the media or anything. They're talking. It's the price of fuel went up too high. The luxury products are gone. No one's ordering them. No one's wanting them right now. They're just trying to go to the store and buy a pack of meat for less than $20, or whatever. and buy some chicken, buy a chicken, the yard bird, for less than $15. So you go home and feed your family that night. You don't have money to go buy a $50 video just for your son to sit there and gel his brain out in the bedroom for 2 days on. So all that, it's all coming together as a perfect crap storm that is crashing the economy, and it's going to get worse. Even in Texas right now, the housing market, our Texas housing market withstood all that stuff back in 2000, a few years ago, 2008, whatever. Texas made it through that just fine. Texas is even taking a hard crash right now on their real estate market. The houses are moving slower, prices are dropping. People, and even if the prices are dropping, people can't afford to go out and get the loan at 7 and 8% interest. So they're still not going out and buying these houses at lower prices. They're scared, So that's crashing. The housing market's crashing. The transportation market's crashing. The retail industry is crashing. You know what those three equal up to? Housing, transportation, retail, and tech are all hitting hard. They're suffering. What did I tell you? We're in trouble. Our economy's in trouble. You got the main thing, energy. Price of energy is going up. Oil and everything, but we're not getting it. And now you got the war over in the Middle East and all this stuff. So prices of fuel are definitely going to be going up again. We already see it. It's going to keep going up. And all of this is coming to create one perfect storm that's going to crash our economy. Unless we figure out a way to get back in grips with, we need to be drilling here, and paying attention to our own country and everything, we're just going to be in trouble. And I hate to get political on here, but that's the facts. This is what's happening to us right now is very political. It's a lot of politics in this. And if you're not wise enough to figure that, if you're still voting Democrat after all of this stuff that's happening with Israel and everything else, the Ukraine and everything, and the fuel prices, and the price of merchandise, and the price of all this stuff. Hey! Say hi to everybody, honey.
Hello.
But if you're going to be voting Democrat after this, you deserve what happens to you. That's all I can say. But anyway, guys, that's the video I want to get on here and everything. Let y'all know about the 2 or 3 brokerage companies that went out of business in the last 24 hours. And it looks like 2 more are on their way out. And wish you guys the best. Road Scholar out.